5 Stoic Secrets to Becoming Dangerously Unshakable, a Philosophical Path to Quiet Dominance. Imagine stepping into a crowded symposium, not with thunderous declarations or armored bravado, but with the subtle gravity of a stone dropped into still water. Ripples spread, conversations hush, eyes avert. No sword drawn, no voice raised, merely your essence, forged in the fires of introspection, commanding the ether. This, dear seeker, is the essence of true peril. Not the clamor of the storm, but the unyielding calm at its eye. In this philosophical odyssey, we unearth 5 Stoic behaviors that render you unshakably formidable. Behaviors that echo the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, the defiance of Nietzsche, and the existential poise of Camus. If you've ever pondered how to navigate life's tempests with serene sovereignty, linger here. Like, subscribe, and join the discourse in the comments. What stirs your inner philosopher? Stay with us. Perhaps the facts in this video may change your life forever. The philosophy of perilous poise. In the grand theater of existence, where chaos masquerades as fate and discord as destiny, we are all actors grappling with the script of our souls. Yet, what if the greatest peril is not the adversary's blade, but our own unraveling? Stoicism, that ancient bulwark against fortune's whims, teaches us that danger is not in the external fray, but in the internal fracture. As Epictetus whispered, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Today, we transcend the superficial flecks of fleeting tempers. We delve into behaviors that cultivate a quiet dominion, a philosophical armor invisible yet impenetrable. These are not mere tactics for the arena of social skirmishes, but contemplative practices for the soul's eternal vigil. Now take your seat, breathe deeply. Let us contemplate why, in a world addicted to outrage, the philosopher's calm emerges as the supreme menace. 1. The sovereign silence, mastering composure amid the tempest. Consider the absurdity of it. We, ephemeral sparks in the cosmos' indifferent blaze, squander our sovereignty on ephemeral eruptions. To lose one's composure publicly is to abdicate the throne of self, a philosophical abdication as tragic as Sisyphus' eternal toil, yet far more voluntary. Nietzsche, that tempestuous herald of the Übermensch, railed against the slave morality of reactive fury, urging us instead toward the Dionysian restraint that births Apollonian mastery. The truly perilous soul is not the bellowing titan, but the one who, amid the maelstrom, offers a faint, knowing smile, like the Buddha beneath the Bodhi tree, unmoved by Mara's illusions. On the power of composure. Why does stillness unnerve us so? Its rarity is its terror. From our first breath to our last, we are taught to mistake volume for value, to believe the loudest pain is the most profound. Yet, as Camus showed us, true rebellion against the void is not a scream but a silent, lucid defiance. When you crumble under provocation, you become a spectacle of your own fragility. You are shouting, "Here's where I break. Aim here and watch me shatter." The composed soul, on the other hand, simply whispers, "I am the architect of my own serenity. Your storms are but a breeze against my fortress." Philosophically, this isn't a mere act of control. It is the deep practice of amor fati, the love of one's fate. The Roman emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." To live this truth is to transform potential poison into philosophical gold. Think of your last outburst. Did it build bridges or burn them? Did it elevate you or diminish you? In practice, this sovereignty unfolds like a slow bloom. Inhale the fury, exhale the illusion of control. When conflict arises, take a sacred pause. Let your breath become the bridge between impulse and insight. A subtle smile can grace your lips not as a sneer, but as a quiet acknowledgement of the human comedy. If the tension persists, leave not in defeat but in deliberate detachment. Let your silence become a sermon on selective engagement. If you must speak, do so in a murmur that compels others to lean in. Your softness is a scalpel dissecting pretense without drawing blood. I remember a corporate coliseum where a superior tried to crucify my work before an audience. The old me, uninitiated in the Stoic arts, would have unleashed a torrent of data to drown his critique. Instead, I communed with the void within. My eyes were steady, my voice a quiet veil. "Acknowledged," I said. "I will refine these points after we deliberate." The room, expecting a storm, was met only with stillness. My accuser faltered, his thunder stolen by my tranquility. Whispers followed, such coldness, an iceberg in the inferno. From that day on, his arrows found a new target, for the unshakable repel the rash. This, seeker, is the core of the contemplative path. Every moment of restraint is a ritual, a reaffirmation of your dominion over the chaos of desire. It doesn't offer the loud thrill of victory, but the quiet ecstasy of self-mastery. In traffic or a tribunal, hold back the whirlwind. Let your adversaries wonder what strategies are simmering in your serene depths. This makes you an enigma, an existential apex, not dangerous in action, but in your sheer depth of being. As the Stoic sage Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Master the mind's illusions, and the world's sorrows will wither." On the power of direct inquiry. In the maze of human interaction, where 1,000 words can obscure a single truth, directness is the thread of Ariadne. It is unflinching, unadorned, and unyielding. We live in a time of polite vagueness, where sincerity cowers behind courtesy and authenticity is lost in a haze of ambiguity. What is the danger in this linguistic limbo? It breeds not harmony, but hypocrisy, a collective slumber wherein spoken truths fester and poison our relationships. To ask an honest question is to summon the spirit of Socrates, that divine voice that demands clarity from chaos. This is a dangerous act, for it dismantles delusions, exposing the scaffolding of the soul to the light of scrutiny. Consider this cultural conundrum. We are a society devoted to comfort, where confrontation is seen as conflict and honesty as an act of heresy. We tiptoe through conversations to avoid stepping on egos. But the Stoic inquirer, echoing Nietzsche's call to become who you are, rejects this masquerade. Why did you make that choice, you can ask, not with a weapon, but with a genuine desire for understanding. What shadows your silence? The question lands like a Zen koan, shattering the stasis of small talk and summoning substance from the superficial. In this act, power shifts. You, the questioner, become the cartographer of concealed contours, while the person being asked must navigate their own narrative anew. Philosophically, directness is a dialectical force. It reveals the will to truth that hides beneath our facades. By demanding dialogue over deflection, you honor Heidegger's concept of Dasein, being there in unfiltered honesty. It unnerves people because it rejects the narrative of niceness. The one who evades a direct question feels the existential echo of their own evasion, yet herein lies its grace. A question is not a quarrel but a quest, a bridge from isolation to illumination. To use this power wisely, temper your tone with tranquility. Let your curiosity be a gentle hand, not an interrogator's lash. Be concise. One crystalline question is more effective than a dozen convoluted ones. Ask, then pause. Let silence, that stoic sentinel, invite the unspoken. Avoid sharp-edged accusations. How do you perceive this path is better than why are you being deceptive, because it invites introspection instead of defensiveness. I recall a moment in a corporate setting. A co-worker was consistently late on a project, using a stream of excuses to justify it. My colleagues simmered with passive anger, but no one dared to challenge the pretense. I, attuned to the power of inquiry, simply interjected, "What kept the project from being completed?" The room fell into a thoughtful quiet. He hesitated, then confessed, "Honestly, this work doesn't feel right for me." A wave of revelation rippled through the group. The resentment evaporated, replaced by understanding. The team was able to move forward with a new resolve. He later thanked me, saying, "Your question broke my silence. No one else dared to ask." Thus, directness is not about domination, but about dialogue. It frees us from life's quiet lies, building friendships based on honesty and alliances forged in authenticity. The risk: it can polarize the timid, who see precision as a provocation. But for the philosopher, this is progress. Clearer connections cull the counterfeit, preserving your world for relationships of substance. As the Oracle of Delphi decreed, "Know thyself, and know others through the questions that quicken the journey. In this you command not through force, but through the courageous cartography of conversation." On the power of detachment. Ah, the siren song of small-minded strife, that petty pandemonium that promises the allure of vindication, only to entangle you in its serpentine coils. Here is a heresy to the heart's hubris. The supreme Stoic strategy in skirmishes of no consequence is absolute abstention. Don't offer a retort. Don't provide a reason. Just make a deliberate exit, as if their conflict were a morning mist in which you have no business. Drama, that vampiric vortex, feeds on our engagement. To cut the cord is to starve the specter, leaving you a serene enigma poised beyond their petty ploys. Philosophically, this detachment echoes Diogenes' disdain for the illusions of his time and Epicurus's choice to gate his garden against the grief of the world. Nietzsche, the great navigator of nihilism, celebrated the noble soul that rejects the herd's theatrics, ascending to a solitary summit of self-sufficiency. Why does withdrawal wound the warmonger? It withholds the validation they crave. Their barbs simply rebound into banal echoes, exposing the emptiness of their effort. In walking away, you enact Camus' absurd heroism, not a futile rage, but a faithful devotion to your own finite flame. Ask yourself, is this slight a scar on the canvas of eternity, or a mere speck on the vast vault of my soul? The contemplative calculus is clear. Engaging in fleeting drama erodes your essence. Each retort is another chain binding you to the ridiculous. Withdrawal, on the other hand, elevates you. You become ethereal, an eminence immune to insult. This practice conserves your most precious resource, time, for more profound pursuits. As Lao Tzu wrote, "By not going anywhere, one arrives. In the marketplace of aggravation, your absence is a statement. Your chaos does not touch my transcendence." In practice, first, interrogate the importance of the issue. Will this matter in a month or a year? If not, make your exit. Offer a nod of quiet nobility, a smile of serenity, then seek solitude. Don't give a monologue of scorn. Let your departure be a lesson in levity. Train your temperament. Each act of avoidance is a step toward a higher state and energy reserved for enlightenment. I recall a corporate moment in which a colleague, a true devotee of drama, aimed darts of derision at me in a meeting. The assembly expected a heated exchange. Instead, I simply inscribed my notes, offered a subtle smile, and declared, "That's an insightful point." Then I left the room to get a glass of water. His hunger for a hubbub went unmet, and he moved on to a new target. My peers later remarked on my subtlety, calling me a shadow slipping the snare. Eventually, his attacks subsided because boredom begets peace. This detachment is a form of existential economics. It is not evasion but elevation. It filters the frivolous, fortifying your mind for fellow travelers of fortitude. Drama tests the tempered. Your triumph lies in transcendence. As Marcus Aurelius warned, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Divorce yourself from the drama and a new peace will dawn. In this philosophical flight, you forge a formidable presence, one that frightens not by force but by a total freedom from the fray. On the power of the mirror. Now we move deeper into the dialectic of influence. What if the most powerful tool is not assertion, but reflection? The art of mirroring another's chaos with your own unrippled reservoir of calm. In a moment of tension, as others escalate, you remain a placid pond. You echo their agitation not by amplifying it, but by absorbing it and returning it in tranquil tones. This is not a passive act, but a profound philosophical move, much like the Taoist concept of Wu Wei, effortless action that turns tumult into tranquility. It endangers the provocateur, for in your serene reflection, they confront not an opponent, but their own distorted face. Consider the conundrum. We hunger for harmony, yet we recoil from the reflection of our own hostility. As Jung showed us, we project our shadows outward. To mirror them back without magnification is to force a moment of self-reckoning. Stoically, this echoes Seneca's advice on clemency. Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. By reflecting restraint, you can turn antagonism into awakening. Your calm becomes a catalyst for their catharsis. It unnerves because it reveals the vanity of their vehemence. Why rage at a reflection that refuses to ripple? This behavior provides three distinct advantages. It neutralizes without negating, encouraging a flow of communication over a fracture. It elevates empathy, allowing you to see their provocation as a plea, and it highlights your sovereignty, making you a stoic statue amid seismic shifts. Ask yourself, do you amplify the absurd or absorb it into the abyss of equanimity? To practice this, observe the onset of agitation and respond with resonant repose. Match their pace, not their pitch, their essence, not their excess. If fury flares, let your voice become a velvet vault that absorbs it, returning reason softly. In a family firestorm or a professional argument, this mirror can mend. Say, I sense your storm, let us find a way to quiet its swells together. No victory is claimed, but harmony is crowned. I remember an intimate crisis. A confidant consumed by a gale of grievance attacked me with accusatory arrows. My first instinct was to shoot back. Instead, I mirrored her chaos with a measured demeanor. I sense your distress, I said quietly. What truth lies within this tempest? Her hurricane stilled, unraveling into revelation. Your stillness, she said, showed me my own squall. Our friendship went from fractured to fused. This reflection of restraint is the philosopher's prism. It refracts rage into revelation, making you resilient, a beacon in the bewilderment of being. Is it dangerous? Unquestionably. By disarming discord, you disarm doubt, emerging as the existential example others can emulate. As the philosopher Heraclitus said, the unlike is joined together, and from differences results the most beautiful harmony. Harmonize what is different, and harmony will heal. On the power of the unblinking gaze. At the apex of our ascent lies the ocular oracle. To maintain eye contact without a hint of a flinch is to look into the abyss of aletheia, unconcealed truth, and emerge not eclipsed but illuminated. In this primal and profound gaze, we go beyond the timid triangulations of averted eyes, those fleeting escapes from the face of another. The philosopher Sartre saw the gaze as a crucible of consciousness, where one becomes an object in another's view, creating both a bond and a breakthrough. Yet, the Stoic sovereign holds this gaze not as a weapon, but as a homage to pure presence. This unyielding connection unnerves people because it strips away all superficiality, demanding a true communion with their core being. Philosophically, the unflinching eye is epistemology made flesh. Just as Descartes doubted in order to find certainty, we gaze in order to grasp the cogito, the consciousness of the person before us. This practice defies our screen-saturated slumber where digital distances dilute depth. By holding the horizon of another's iris, you are declaring, I am here, wholly, without the ghost of hesitation. It communicates a cosmic certainty. an unalloyed assurance, a dominance distilled to a kind of grace. Predators pierce, philosophers penetrate, plumbing the depths of personhood. The contemplative challenge. In a world built for withdrawal, this gaze is an act of guerrilla grace. It forges not fear but fellowship, not fracture but fusion. Ask yourself, does your darting demeanor declare diffidence, or do you dare to dwell in the depth? To master this art, avoid the cold stare in favor of a soft, serene focus. Let your gaze gently move in a triangle from eye to eye, and then to the mouth. Blink naturally, like the steady flow of a river. Pair your gaze with poise and a subtle smile. Practice humility. Gaze at the grocer, the barista, and build toward bolder moments. Shun the sinister squint. Let your light lead the way. What is one personal practice you can adopt this week to start cultivating a more philosophical approach to your daily interactions? Envision an altercation's apex, a comrade crescendoing in contentious crescendo, castigated with cascades of critique. Volume vaulted. Eye, anchored in ocular oasis, beheld unwaveringly. Not with warrior's glare, but witness's warmth. 10 ticks of the temporal tide, and he queried, "Why this unwavering watch? Merely mindful," I murmured. His bluster burst, birthing bewilderment, then breakthrough. The brawl bowed to bond. This gaze is Genesis. Owning the ocular oracle owns the ousia essence of encounter, as Aurelius aspired. Be the good man. Embody, don't enunciate. Initial unease, undeniably. The ego's elegy to evasion, yet persistence precipitates proficiency. Strangers soften, suitors spark, skirmishes subside. It transmutes transactions to transcendence. For in the unblinking the universe unfolds. You, the gazer, become the gravitas others gravitate towards, dangerous in your devotion to the depth of being. The eyes are the window to the willing soul, adapted from Shakespearean Stoicism. In this philosophical pilgrimage we have plumbed the profundities of poise. From silence's sovereignty to the gaze's genesis, each ethic etches the eternal. True terror is not thunder, but the tranquil Titan who tames the tempests within. These Stoic sacraments are not stratagems for subjugation, but sacraments for self-sovereignty, commanding reverence through the quiet quorum of your quintessence. As you assimilate them, observe the osmosis. Allies attune, adversaries abate, and above all, your inner interlocutor intones approbation. The world's worship wanes for the windy, it waxes for the wise who wield control as compass. Now, noble nomad, I beseech your reflection, which of these resonates in your repository, which beckons your becoming? Inscribe below. We commune with each, curating our collective chronicle. Until our next journey, dwell in the depths. The most menacing might is the muted one that murmurs of mastery. Farewell, fellow philosopher, forge fiercely, but with fathomless calm. Did this video add anything new to your knowledge? Click the like button and tell us in the comments which part of the video and which piece of information you liked and were curious about. If you aren't subscribed to Edulophy channel, subscribe now as we delve deeper than others dare.